Rav Dessler Zatzal has he does not write it in this context, but I think I encourage you to think about it as parents, all of you, in so many different ways. Rav Dessler's concept, he talks about Nekudas habechira. Nekuda is a point. You familiar with the term?
Yeah.
Okay. So Nekudas habechira. Nekuda is a point. Bechira is choice. And the question that he discusses and other, Sifrei Machshava, many of our Gedolim and philosophers talked about this in global terms. In other words, Hashem, we know that we have mitzvahs and averos. We get reward for doing good things. We get punished for doing things that aren't right. Is that for every mitzvah? In other words, it's a sin that I'm not supposed to murder somebody. So do I get credit for not killing someone today? That's what Rav Dessler is discussing, okay? Or let's say, if I say 2 words of Lashon Hara, is it all over for me? But that's something that's so hard for me to go through a whole day without. So Rav Dessler says, in other words, the concept in machshava, in thought and philosophy, is that perhaps we only really get schar va'onish for that little box that's within our range. That's how, think of it as a battlefield. And where's the battle taking place? Okay, it's a soccer game. That's why I have to talk about war. Okay, playing a soccer game, there's a huge field. Where's the ball? Where are they tussling around? Where's that little? So that space is where our schar va'onish, because there are things that we're never going to do wrong, that we won't do, and maybe we shouldn't be rewarded, and there are some things that are above. It says in Shulchan Aruch that I'm supposed to get up at Chatzos and pray for the rebuilding of the Beis Hamikdash. Supposed to get up in the middle of the night. This is Shulchan Aruch, right? It's almost Chatzos now, right? So do I get punished for not doing? That's Rav Dessler speaking. A long thought to come up with this point. The biggest blessing a child can have, one of the greatest blessings a child can have, is a parent who knows where their Nekudas habechira is. And once you know that, all these things become so obvious almost. All the questions that you have, and you're debating, should I say this? Should I do this? Should I make a fuss over this? If you know the Nekudas habechira, you got it. You know that this is, beyond their limits. Don't talk about this. It's like, not only that, it's a waste of your effort. You're losing political capital and you're frustrating them. They wind up looking at themselves like they're horrible. Imagine if I went to my Rebbe and my Rebbe would speak to me for a half hour that I should get up chatzos. Yankee, it says in Shulchan Aruch, how come you're not doing it? Right? Like, I'll shake my head, I'll be polite, but like, do you know who I am? Like, it's not me. So, in other words, it's so destructive when you get into places that are not in their space. It's like you're hanging up a sign, I don't know who you are. So when you know your child Nekudas habechira, then you can talk to them in a way that's helpful to them and meaningful and understanding their struggle.